All right, welcome everybody. This is the product ideation week. I am so happy to see you guys. We do have some people that weren't feeling well this last week, so I'm not sure what it's looking like. We'll give everyone a few more minutes. We might get some more joining. But this is one of my very favorite weeks because you all get to go, you went to the grocery store, hopefully, or at least we're able to look online and probably have lots of ideas and saw lots of things. So this is the week where you'll go into breakouts and you'll just be brainstorming together. Any questions that you have or ideas that you came up with, you can bounce off of each other. And then you can also, you know, I really want you guys to give your thoughts as well. So not just to say like, this is my idea. Have ideas for the other person. Like you never know what creatively you can come up with. We have Maria with us today and JB. So what we'll be doing is Maria, JB, and I will each be in a room, and we will, because we're a little light on participation, we might jump in and give some ideas too, or we might sit there and be quiet and be more flies on the wall. Whatever seems to work best is what we'll do with that. I wanted to really quickly, before we go into the breakout, to just ask which stores you all went to or looked at online. And then if it was pretty much what you expected, or if you found something unexpected. And if you found something unexpected, what was that? So I'm gonna just kind of go around based on my computer screen and ask. So Jocelyn, where did you look and anything unexpected?
Went to Fresh Market, Whole Foods. I tried to go to REI, but their hours were wrong and they were already closed when I got there. Publix, and a Wawa. And surprisingly, a humongous amount of stuff was in the Wawa. Like they actually had like a larger to go, which I guess maybe that shouldn't be so surprising, on like a healthy snack shelf. So a lot of jerky, a lot of healthy treats and stuff like that.
Jocelyn, I thought about you. I was traveling to Mobile last week for that trade show, and we stopped in a Buc-ee's. Have you been in Buc-ee's?
Those are the bomb.
There's only a couple in the state of Florida, I guess, but they have a trillion different kinds of beef jerky. The one in I don't even know what state I was in. It must have been near Mobile still, over in Alabama. But they had a whole glass counter of $10.49 a pound beef jerky and every flavor that you could imagine. When I say, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to tell Jocelyn about this. There was like 30 flavors and you could buy it, by the pound. It was just in this glass case in piles and piles. So if you haven't checked Buc-ee's out, you better check it out.
I have to, ideas. I think I've gotten gas, but haven't spent much time in the snack side. So I'll have to.
Well, I the only other time I'd been to Buc-ee's, I told my husband, I said, I'm not going in that madhouse because there's like 120 gas pumps. So I stayed in the car. Well, this time I went in and I was like, oh my God, this place is like Walmart inside. It was crazy. But the beef jerky was crazy. So
cool.
Neat. Yeah, and as you guys are going places and see things, I'm going to make this note for myself too. If you can just take a picture, like if you see a cool beef jerky like area, like think of Jocelyn, take a picture and send it or post it on the forum. Because I think with how spread out we all are and the different stores that we shop at, we can all kind of contribute if we keep an eye out. All right, Debbie. Which stores did you go to?
I went to Publix, and then I searched under some of my ingredients for what I wanted. I just mentioned shopping, and then I looked it up, and so I just went under what I made and to try to find some others similar to that. And I was
Anything
surprised.
unexpected?
I was surprised how many variations and how many had protein powder in them. And that was one of the things that people really didn't care for, was protein powder added.
Yeah.
And then as I was talking about it, I can't remember who, but they pointed out the fact that my cashews are organic. And that's a huge factor of mine being different.
Yes.
So I don't know what that process is, but I know that it's, it's something I'll want to do.
Right. Great. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting that there were so many different kinds. And I would encourage you to, at some point, to talk to Wanda, because she is, I hope you don't mind me saying this, Wanda, but she is like kind of our resident exercise fitness guru. And she, I noticed in the forum that you said that you don't think you're going in the exercise direction. And I do think it's important for you to understand the two different groups and make a conscious decision about which one you're going to go towards, which it sounds like you're going in the other way.
I was going the other way first, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question to see which one you want to do. So
it's not the first time I've tried this. The first time it was with peanuts, and it was for like more geared toward cancer because of everything I was going, But.
Yeah. All right. Sarita, where did you end up going, and anything unexpected? Oh, she looks like she's frozen. I'm going to give her just a second. There she is. You're moving again. You are.
Thank you. Yes. Hello. I went in 4 stores. I went in Walmart, Trader Joe's, Community Co-op, which is a local co-op, and I went in Whole Foods. And then I also used Amazon as a backup resource to research other brands or different recipes for herbal tonics. And the thing that I found most shocking is that locally, Whole Foods has the largest selection of a variety of juices, lemonades, herbal drinks. I mean, variety wise, they were like top notch. And so when I got in Whole Foods, because that was the last place that I went in, I felt like I wasted my time in the other stores. And then I was also surprised that Whole Foods actually has several different products that meet different price points for their consumers. I was shocked about that because if you guys are familiar with it, Whole Foods is also called Whole Check. So it's usually kind of expensive there. Well, that's what people assume. But I found things that I would think would be cost friendly for folks.
Yeah, I went into to Whole Foods as well this last week and saw that juice, the one down here in Davie, Florida, and their juice area was monstrous. I was really surprised by the variety and what's in there. I think it is important though for you to see what has survived and made it into those other stores, even if it's just a limited quantity that makes it into like a Publix. What is it and why are those? I think that's a good question to kind of ask too.
Yeah. So I briefly have an answer to that. I've noticed here in Tallahassee or Leon County, so we have about 5 or 6 Walmarts in particular, and each Walmart has something different dependent upon the demographics within that area that it's serving. And so I find that very disturbing because on the south side of Tallahassee, you have your lower income demographics. However, that also gives them less access to healthier options. And I don't like that. I just find that very disturbing.
I've noticed that as well, that in lower income areas, it tends to be more like kind of fast calories, but they're empty calories. And I think that's, yeah, I also find that to be very disturbing, as I would imagine most of the people in the cohort do, because I think everyone cares a lot about nutrition that I've heard from in here. So definitely something to consider with your product. Tori and Linka, where did you guys go, and anything unexpected?
We went to Robert is here, Publix, Sedano's, and
Glazer Farms.
Glazer Farms.
Yeah, and you guys know Publix. Sedano's is sort of the Cuban Publix, big Cuban grocery store. And Robert is here is a local, it's produce. They sell a lot of local produce, a lot of produce from a lot of places too. It's also a real touristy kind of place. And Glazer Farms has been a local organic grower that produces lots of value-added products that are mostly raw, fresh, organic. And they sell their products in Whole Foods all over the place, and a lot of the specialty markets in Miami. And so we went to their shop, which is like a tiny little, I don't know, like cabin on their farm that's not far from where we farm. And we were really surprised that they didn't have any kind of hot sauce whatsoever, not even in fridges full of hummuses and other kinds of pastes that you might put on. I mean, they had all kinds of concoctions that they make, but no hot sauce. And the Robert is here had lots and lots of local, almost only Florida hot sauces. But the cheapest one was probably pretty close to the most expensive variety that you would find at Publix. And then of course, Sedano's was the least expensive. We also found out Publix because they have an end cap that's just Florida products. So not just hot sauce, all sorts of things, all Florida. But they actually had hot sauce from North Carolina in the Florida products. So, I don't know what that means, but it was interesting to look at the range of prices, the range of products. We bought a couple to try. And of course we made some this week too, which was like a new spin on the recipe. So it was
Nice.
definitely really useful. Although I kind of suspect that it might be a little bit different if we went up in, because we live outside of Miami. So even though our address is Miami, we're in the Redland Agricultural District. And so we're kind of surrounded by farmers markets and farm stands and that kind of thing. And I think that just like when you're trying to sell eggs, people out here are not going to pay $10 a dozen for eggs. But I know that when people work the farmers market up in Aventura, you can literally sell fresh eggs for $10 a dozen. So I think that the shift of not only what's available, but what the price ranges are will be really different if we go to Miami Beach or up into the Design District, counties northward.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point about different areas and different price points that will be tolerated. Out of curiosity, and for the people driving, Seta, please don't raise your hand. Who all was able to test, actually eat some of your competitors' products? Did anyone?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I was.
Nice, good. I would definitely recommend doing that. You'll learn a lot from the different tastes too. So that is a good exercise. All right. So next up on my screen is Pat. Where did you go? Anything unexpected?
Unexpected. Yeah, nobody wants my stuff. Nothing's in the market like the meringue drops in Winn-Dixie or Publix or Walmart. There were something called flour and white. I kind of was a little wrong about that. Flour and white meringue drops. I believe they're from the UK, which look almost like my stuff. That was at the Fresh Market, which is a higher end and a higher price point. Later, I'll post in my profile pictures of the box and stuff. I really haven't tried to eat it because we got things late, and just news and cover Linka's ears, but I had to prep for a colonoscopy yesterday And so I wasn't allowed to eat any solid food for the last, day and a half or so. So no, I have not had a chance to try it. This good thing is that, or the good thing is that the only thing, oh, and I also looked on Goldbelly and online for the meringue drops, but I hadn't seen anything like people were requesting for alternative lower glycemic indexes of sugars. And ever the meringue drops from Flour and White, which I thought was an interesting name. I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. I would have liked to use that, especially with my name, but they're only cane sugars. So, and they're, 92% sugar is stated, and they didn't, go into, like, this is one of my lemon drops, and I don't know if you can see how it's yellow versus the vanilla. Oh, and that's the other thing is because I was trying to get more natural instead of using vanilla extract, and also because there's no alcohol in the vanilla, and there is some alcohol in vanilla extract, and that's debatable. But with this one, I use straight vanilla bean for flavoring, nothing else.
Wow.
So you can see tiny little flecks. You can't see it on probably, but this one's, you see the difference? This,
Yep.
the food.
I like the vanilla bean ice cream better than the regular ice cream that's vanilla flavored. I always look for vanilla bean ice cream. I think it tastes.
I thought it tastes better too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one,
And
that color is simply turmeric.
Huh.
And the tasters at the hospital actually like this one better because one, it was yellow, which was, the previous, when I did my survey, people like yellow better, and it's lemon.
Mhm.
So, and the stabilizer was citric acid, which gave it a more tart kick. But anyway,
so
so
I
was just thinking.
I saw.
So, yes.
Oh, sorry. I went to Trader Joe's and they do have in a plastic tub meringues. And that's kind of a staple thing at Trader Joe's. Erica, you were nodding your head. That's your understanding as well. Yeah. So that's,
I don't have a
so I
Trader
do think
Joe's.
some local, I'll buy you some.
The one, I'm pretty
but-
sure the one here in Gainesville, they have them. I've seen them there regularly.
Good.
Yeah. Next time I'll go, I'll buy some and take a picture of the label for you, Pat. So.
Yeah, no, I started getting doubtful because as Katie knows, I'm the type who goes to the restaurant and orders something and we took that off the menu. Anything I ever liked, the lipstick is discontinued, the car is discontinued. So I'm sitting there thinking, maybe I don't have something that people will like. And
It's good that yours is unique. That should be, that's better than having a saturated market where there's, 50 bazillion meringues and you're trying to make yours stand out. That would intimidate me.
yeah.
I would rather be the only
Did you
person.
see that, that picture I sent you, I got it on Pinterest of those really big Italian ones?
I saw that you sent me a message and when I was looking for it, I couldn't find it. So I'll search again today and I'll let you know.
I would
Alice,
buy
they
one
were
of those.
huge. They were
huge,
big.
they were this big.
I didn't.
Yeah, and that's common in Italy. You could probably order one in St. Petersburg. There's a specialty Italian store. I may head over there to St. Pete and buy one for you, send it to you or something if you can't find any.
Yeah,
They're big.
Goldbelly sold a
All
couple.
right.
You know what the Goldbelly is, right? That online market for foods.
Well,
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, goldbelly.com.
I hate to interrupt because
No
this
problem.
is a good conversation, but I wanna just get around and hear where everyone went and then put everyone in breakout rooms so you can have a really deep discussion together. So I'm gonna move on to you, Alice, because you were next on my screen.
Okay, so I went
Where did you go?
Dick's Sporting Goods, which had the typical stuff that campers will buy, and it's so expensive, it's insane. Publix, I think they had a couple of the baby bites I didn't see much there. Whole Foods definitely had a few. Trader Joe's I was gonna go to and I missed. And then Amazon and Vitacross. I order a lot of my stuff on Vitacross, because they've got the organic beef jerky, for example, without the nitrates. And they had all kinds of freeze-dried fruits. So I ordered a bunch, and yeah, they're expensive because I think the packaging costs more than the food. I think that that's what's going to happen in my case. Is my strawberries are cheap, but the packaging to put those little things in it. So anyway, yeah, that's where I went. I would love to head down to Glazer Farms. When Tori and Linka were talking about Glazer Farms, if you've never been there, that's a phenomenal place to go. I don't know if they have freeze-dried stuff. And then I may be pivoting off of the freeze-dried stuff if I don't get my freeze dryers in, because I got back order problems. So I may be going back to that original idea of doing my fruit roll-ups which are really still yummy. In fact, a lot of people like the fruit leather better than they like the freeze-dried stuff. I mean, they're made similarly, but with a different machine. So you get a different product.
I would encourage you to do something where you can have product available during this course, because there are modules coming up where you're going to want to have stuff for, consumers tasting and things like that. So, so yeah, I'm sorry that you're on back order on that.
Well, I mean, I may get it any day and I may not. So I'm prepared. Don't worry about it. I'm going to have the fruit leathers. I mean, yeah, I'll have a backup, and that'll be my primary if the freeze dryers don't come. So, yeah.
All right. Erica, you are next on my screen. Where were you able to go?
Okay, I went to Publix, Whole Foods, and then I did a little bit of just like online research when I was looking for Pizzelle cookies. Apparently they have a version at World Market and like Marshall's. It seems like kind of like a seasonal thing for those types of stores. And then Publix, I actually bought a pack back in around Christmas time, and I tried them and they were not good. They just were like really overwhelming. It was the anise flavored, and it was just really overwhelming and not in a good way. Almost like nauseating. Whole Foods had a private label cookie, and I don't know if that's a regular item for Whole Foods or if that's kind of like carryover from the holidays. And then the other place that I thought that these kind of would fit in is like a Starbucks, because those cookies go really good with coffee. And the closest thing I could find was like a packaged stroopwafel. Do you know what those are? It's like a Dutch waffle cookie with caramel in the center. They have like a pre-packaged cookie, which actually looks really good, and they have really cool flavors on their website. But yeah, so that's kind of like what I found so far. I mean, there's a lot of other bakeries, but more like online. They sell them like, from a website. And I don't think I've seen them at Trader Joe's ever.
I don't think I've seen them at Trader Joe's either.
No.
One of the things I really like that you did, Erica, and Jocelyn, you did, and I think Alice, was thinking about like the use case for your product, like going to Wawa's or going to Dick's Sporting Goods or REI, and that you went to a coffee shop. That's really smart. And I feel like that is starting to get into your customers' heads some, like thinking about when would they want it and what types of place would provide that. So yes, awesome job, guys, on doing that. All right, next up on my screen is Seta.
Good, and
Are
I'm
you
just
on?
getting home, so this will be good. And I'll switch to the computer in just a moment. All right, so on in store, I went to Greenwise, which is a Publix Publix upscale place, and then Winn-Dixie in my area to see what they had in the ways of juices. I saw that many had the ginger and or turmeric juice. I didn't see many with the combinations. Also looked online at Fresh Market, and I think again at the Publix. Again, they have variants of what I'm trying to do, but none with the 5 base ingredients that I'm trying to utilize. So that gave me a good feeling about, okay, at least I have something a little bit different than what's on market. I am going for the small shot size, which Shahida, you recommended, and I really thought that was a great idea. And then probably branch into the 8-ounce bottles for something different in another type of juice. But for what we're working with right now is the little 2-ounce tonics. And I only saw those in the Greenwise. They had little shot bottles, and I think I saw them in Publix too. Little shot bottles of the drink. So those are the ones I saw and what I saw in comparison.
Nice.
You know, you might find some at the mall. I saw some little shot drinks at the mall at these tennis shoe stores.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Hey, wherever we can get them in. I think that would be the deal. Something, even I think the gas stations would be a nice little place to have them, because they have those 5-hour energy drinks. But if we can have just the 2-ounce in the cases just as you go out of the store, that will be a good option for me. Just thinking through some places that placing it would be a good place to do.
Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's has everything.
Buc-ee's, and then I think it's called Busy Bee. I think it is. Somebody was mentioning about the beef jerky.
Busy Bee too.
They have a whole line of the beef jerky as well. So that might be another place. Next time I'm going out that way, I'll take some pictures of to send the beef jerky person that information. I didn't see many drinks in those last time either, but I have to check that again as well. So that's that.
All right, thank you, Seta. And last up, we have Pamela. I think I got everyone else.
I went to be honest with you, really quickly, going back to that whole economic thing, there's only a Winn-Dixie in Madison. There's another store, but it's so bad in there that I never hardly go in there. But Winn-Dixie is the only thing within 30 miles of me, which is really sad. But I went into Winn-Dixie and I went into Publix. I have a little advantage there because I do merchandising part-time. So I know what y'all are talking about with the different economic areas and the different products that you find. I do Tallahassee a lot. But I went online to Amazon, and what I found there, so obviously my product is chicken soup. There was one product and it was in Winn-Dixie, and I don't know how to pronounce it. It's that RAO. I don't know if that's Rao, whatever, but they make pasta sauce, but they also make soups in jars, and they're very beautiful, but they taste terrible. I bought the chicken soup, I brought it home, and I fed it to the dogs. It was disgusting. So that made me kind of happy because I know I could do a lot better than that. There was nothing frozen that I found, and there's limited dehydrated soups that are chicken, that actually have chicken in them. There's chicken flavored, but not, a lot of dehydrated soups that actually have chicken in them. So the thing about the Amazon shopping was that I was able to go on there and read the reviews for these soups that people post when they buy products. And that was a really good way to collect a lot of good information, because they talked about, this product is too salty and this one, it doesn't have any chicken in it. And so, just from reading different people's opinions, it gave me an idea of what people like and don't like about soup in general. So that's about it.
That's
really
a great idea. Yeah, everyone, I would encourage you all to take that tip and apply it to your own products. Go on Amazon, see what the best selling and that, in your product type is, and then read the reviews of them and see what people are asking for, what they're liking, what they're not liking. That is really smart, Pamela. Way to be resourceful when you only have Winn-Dixie. That was a good way to get around that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put you guys into the breakout rooms. They're gonna be the same ones as last week. I'll open them up in just a second. In terms of the project team, I'm gonna have people stay with you in that room the whole time. So you'll either get me, JB, or Maria in your room. So we'll do 3 rooms. And then I think I will bring you back into the main room at 5:10. We'll do a preview of next week, and we'll just also talk about if anyone decided to go in a new direction with their product or made any decisions based off today. So with that, I'm going to open up the rooms, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you one person that goes into each room, and then you should know from last week. Same room. So room 1, Seta. Room 2, Pamela. Room 3, Jocelyn. You guys remember who you were with last week? So,
Yes.
okay. And then JB, can you head to room, I think the one with Seta, I think that was room 1.
Yeah, give me one moment. Let me log on to the computer so I'm in the right place instead of on my phone.
All right.
Just 1 minute. I'm almost there.
If anyone needs me to put them in a room, let me know.
What was my room
And
again?
then, oh no, you're the like, hang on, let me look. Okay,
Is it the
So,
same room
John-
number as last time?
no, it's
Oh.
just the same group of people, because I couldn't remember who was, so.
I know who
um,
was in it. I just don't know how
right.
to join
So-
it without it.
So Seta's room 1, you weren't room 1, you were with Debbie and Tori, right?
Yes,
Jocelyn?
yes.
Last time? Okay, so you're room 3, so I'm
That's what
gonna
I
pop
thought.
you in there. Okay, Pat, you are going with Pamela, room 2, with Pamela and Erica. I'm sending you there. Oh, okay. Let's see if you joined. And then Alice, you were with,
Pamela and Pat and Erica, yeah. Room 2,
okay,
okay.
there you go. And then, let's see, I think that's Seta, so I'm gonna put her in room 1. Okay, Maria, you are going to room 2.
Morning and
Wait, is that you, Seta?
Yes, I'm coming in. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna put you in the right room.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try to at least. Okay,
Okay. I'm here.
then
Fine.
Maria, you're room 2. And then, Wanda, you can feel free to pick whichever room you want to go to. I am gonna head to room 3. So,
Okay, cool. I'll pick one, roll the dice.
okay, yeah, there's a lot of people in room 2, so that might be a good one. But room 1 also has less people, so that might be a good one too. I don't know.
I'll try 2 first and see if I can move around.
Okay. All right. I am, oh,
And we're back.
I apologize. I thought it was gonna give me like a 2-minute warning and
It normally
countdown,
does.
and then it just like closed the room.
Yeah, we were
So-
like, bam, gone.
I know, I was in the middle of a sentence and I like cut myself
Me
off. So I apologize, everybody. Welcome back to the main room. I wanted to just bring you back here. We're gonna do a preview of next week in just a second, but I wanted to hear if you guys came up with a new idea or if there's something that you are going to explore based on today's conversation. We'll just go around really quickly. So Erica, anything?
Yeah, okay. I was talking about my product and how I've been taking it to the farmers market here in Gainesville, and people are, I offer samples and people are like, oh, I can't eat gluten, this and that. So I'm like, okay, so that has come up several times for me. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be looking at, and also just maybe some different types of sugar versus like, regular, refined sugar. But that'll take some experimentation. I've made gluten-free versions in the past and they taste pretty much the same, but just trying different blends of flours, because there's a lot more available now than there was when I had experimented with it previously. So that's one of the things I was, thinking about.
Cool. Tori and Linka, is there anything that you want to play with or a new idea from today's discussion?
We most want to experiment with.
I don't know, maybe incorporating like different like flavors of fruits that we grow here on our farm.
Yeah, I think the discovery of the canistel being such a fantastic ingredient was a real surprise, and I think we're really committed to figuring out ways to use the things we do grow and can grow. We've talked a lot about, well, what would it be if we came up with a product that was so great, but all of a sudden we had to be like sourcing, produce from out of the country and having it manufactured in a plant, and then what would we be doing all day at our job? And it would probably not be a lot of what we enjoy most doing. So we've really focused on the things that we can grow, which is quite a range of things that we're already growing. But I mean, there's certain things that we could easily add given our location. So.
Great, thank you. Seta.
So, two things came out of our conversation. One was condensing what I thought was an 8-ounce down to the right formulation into a 2-ounce shot bottle, and then how we package that the 2-ounce in one bottle or 2-pack. Do a 2-pack for the impact of it would have on the body, and then possibly a 6-pack too. So a 1-shot, 2-pack, and 6-pack. We talked about those, but then we got into labeling and how that would be another monster. But you guys help us with that, is what Wanda told us. So getting this formula down to the right consistency for impact, and so Rita offered to help me come up with that right formula and the nutritional values of that content. So those are the good things that came out of our conversation.
Nice. Sarita, you want to go next?
Absolutely. All right. So we have our products here. We have 3 of them at least. And per the research, realized that what we thought were finished products, actually, we have a lot of homework to do. And 3 of the main things that we definitely need to revisit is solidifying our brand identity. What category does our product really fit in, especially when it comes to the retail space. The second one is redoing our packaging and our labels so that people understand the benefits of each of the ingredients that are in there, and also including just a snippet of our brand story, especially as a marketing point. And the third thing is some of the bestsellers have 0 calories. Our lowest caloric count is 15 calories. And so these other ones are 100 or less. And we're going to revisit our formulas to see if we can lower the 3 other recipes just a little bit where the calories are concerned.
That's interesting. I'm excited to hear how that process goes and what turns out. All right, Pamela, what about you? Anything you want to explore?
I was talking to the group about sourcing. There's a lot of ingredients that go into my soup, so I can't think about growing all of them. And I was talking about just how mind-boggling it is that I'm going to have to source products from other areas and other growers. And then one of the other big things that came up was packaging, and how there's shortages right now of a lot of raw materials due to the pandemic and shipping. We were just talking about shipping costs, packaging, different ideas. There's a place called Web Restaurant Store that I was telling the group about, that you can go and order a lot of those containers, like to-go type containers. And Erica had mentioned that she needed a plastic clamshell container for her product so that they didn't break in shipment and stuff. And I mentioned Web Restaurant Store. So just if
Nice.
anybody needs
All right.
packaging stuff, you might want to look into that. They're very, very economical, and you don't have to buy a certain amount to get the discount.
Good to know. Yeah, and I think we have a packaging week coming up, so I'm sure everyone, we have 2 packaging experts, I think, that will be joining us that can talk about different options for the different products. And so that'll be a really great week. All right, Debbie, you want to go next? Oh, Debbie, you're muted. Sorry, when you come back into the main room after the breakouts, it mutes you again, just as a heads up.
There was a lot of background noise, and so I muted myself and forgot. I decided that I'm going to do a dry version, like my turmeric and the ginger. I'm going to go ahead and probably the zest to dehydrate it and see how the balls taste like that. I'm hoping that I just want to get a difference of taste, and I'm going to bring them to the farmer's market when I go next and have some people try them. See which ones that they prefer. I'm still going back and forth on this refrigeration thing, but we brought up the fact that a lot of times people would go to the refrigerator and expect to pay more for a premium product. So that might be something even better, if the balls are in a fridge.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be curious to see what the taste tests come out like, what people say. Yeah, we did talk in our group, we talked about buyer's perception. If something is refrigerated versus on a shelf, how does that change your perception of the quality of it? And also, if something is priced really low versus priced high, how does that change your perception of the quality of it as well? So just some things to think about. We also talked about trying to figure out the home in the grocery store where your product would belong.
Oh, yes.
And then looking at like package sizes in that area, and like Jocelyn's jerky. Like jerky always has that little peg that it hangs off of pretty much, or else it's in the stick. So just try to think through where and look at what other people are doing in that like home area in the grocery store. All right, Pat, what are you going to experiment with?
Again, the experimenting to try and up the nutritional value, decrease the glycemic index. I'm lucky in that my product is already essentially gluten-free and fat-free. Look, the sugar ups its caloric density, but I'm excited. I've got some sugars coming in because our shelves in town are picked over. It's like 50% empty. It's as if the hurricanes are coming in right, in the next week. So it's a little difficult to get some of the different things that I want to try. So that's it.
Okay.
Can we help you
Um,
get some of the things you need, Pat? I mean, is there a way, I'm in Monticello, we got one grocery store here too, like I really do that, but I do go to Tallahassee a lot.
Right
Is
now, I'm
there
just
a
looking
way
for
we can maybe help?
I'm looking for the palm sugars and stuff. So I'm good with the turmeric.
What about
and-
monk fruit sugar?
Sorry?
Monk fruit.
Monk fruit is so sweet that you have to add it to something else. So in order to get the substance to keep the meringues up, I have to have more of a solid type sugar, something like isomalt or erythritol, and erythritol gives you such an endothermic reaction in your mouth. Some people find it unpleasant, or cane sugar. And the monk fruit is so sweet that if you look at most monk fruit packages, they're either tiny if they're only monk fruit, and then so it won't give me any substance to raise my meringues. But yeah, I would love to add monk fruit to some things. It's just which one to add to. Yeah.
There's I visit Indian stores a lot, and they have different varieties, different types of sugars. And maybe we'll talk about that later offline at some point about visiting and seeing if there's something you might be able to use as well. Would love to do that.
Great. Yeah.
Don't they use a cream of tartar for meringue to make it?
You
Or
can
is
use
that
any.
something?
Well, that's to stabilize the egg whites. You use a cream of tartar, or you do any different type of acid. You can use lemon juice, cream of tartar, vinegar, the citric acid, like we were talking about earlier. So those, and I actually can taste the different flavor changes in the meringues when I do that. So I kind of pair it to the flavors that I'm using at the time. So that's why with lemon, I'll use the citric acid. So. But that doesn't what gives it its height. That's what helps stabilize the height until you're ready to cook it. But good question.
all right. Jocelyn, you're up next. What are you going to experiment with, or are you thinking on?
I'm gonna experiment with trying some of the soy sauce alternatives in my marinade, exploring that a little bit. And then just through talking with everybody, with Tori and Linka, talking, what about a spreadable hot sauce? So it just makes me think about ingredients and uses it. And so I'm gonna try some different cuts of meat and stuff as well, because I was from a product perspective, when you look at jerky, some of them come in bars and some of them is steak beef kind of deal. So I'm gonna try the bar version.
Nice. Yeah, it was very inspirational hearing Tori and Linka talk about trying different things and coming up with different consistencies. So,
what were the different
Alice.
sauce alternatives? Just curious. Sorry.
Oh, we were
amino
talking
acids?
about coconut aminos.
And
then Tamari makes a gluten-free soy sauce, which a lot of jerkies have I noticed on a lot of the labeling of the higher end or healthier jerkies, they were all certified Whole30 or gluten-free and had those things on their packaging, which started making me wonder, how are they accomplishing that? And then lo and behold, if you just flip it over and read, it gives you the brand of soy sauce and the ingredients they use. So going to just explore with those other two options.
I think I actually have a chocolate aminos in my fridge. I'm going to go run and get it while you guys talk. I'll be right back.
Have you considered using the Bragg's amino acid?
Yes, that's what we were talking about. The coconut aminos. Yeah, the Bragg's. Yep.
Well, Bragg's is not a coconut.
It's not a coconut one?
Nope. It's amino acid. I don't know what else it is, but it's an amino acid as opposed to a coconut. There's a coconut one, but Bragg's it's not coconut. I use it every day. I don't know what it is. It says amino acid.
Rita, jump right in there.
I have a jar in my refrigerator. I'm gonna go get it.
Rita, what were you going to say?
I have a question for you. Those of us who are meatless, are you considering a meatless jerky for us? Because I love jerky, but it's so hard to find a meatless kind that is very, good. Yeah.
So I don't think that, I think that they said that they're considering it, but there's actually 2 women in the Oregon, Washington, Nevada cohort that are working on mushroom jerkies.
Yes.
So I
love
will
it.
get you their information.
Yes.
Ooh,
Thank you.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right,
So-
and then, oh, yep, go ahead, Seta.
I'm sorry. The liquid amino acid from Bragg's is the soy protein base. So it's a soy sauce alternate, but it's a soy protein seasoning.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got
we
the
got the
brag
same
too?
thing.
We went and got the same thing.
Yeah, we got the same thing. I have it in the fridge. It says liquid aminos.
This
But
is
yeah,
liquid
so
amino.
exploring
liquid
all
aminos.
of these,
I don't know where the camera is. Okay, there's
Yeah.
the camera.
all these alternatives to soy sauce will be my experimentation to bring
Yes.
gluten-free options to the table, because when I think about it, I know a lot of people with gluten sensitivity, and you're like, with the Pizel cookies, like that's her biggest thing at the farmer's market is people are like, oh, you know, I got a gluten intolerance. So something we got to be sensitive to.
Yeah, Jocelyn,
It's not
here
good.
this is probably what you were talking about here, the organic cocoa aminos. Is that the one? And and if you've seen ever this black garlic, adds a lot of umami flavor.
Jocelyn, you're muted.
I seen that the other day, and I was wondering, because the name had me, I was like, man, I wonder, is it good?
I love it. Well, yeah, see?
Yeah, right. I seen that at Fresh Market the other day.
Yeah.
Of course. You can
Okay,
Little goes
actually
a long
make,
way.
I want to make sure.
you can ferment those aminos from all sorts of different vegetables and herbs and things like that. And after you have a good ferment so that you have healthy bacteria, you strain out like I put them through the food processor, strain out all the solids, and you get this reduction that's like, well, umami is that Japanese word, right?
Yeah.
For the things that are savory and flavorful, but you could actually work on making your own version of that from whatever mix of vegetables and garlics and things that you wanted to put in there. So
I do not know that I can make that commitment at present to making my own. I think for now, I may be with something that somebody else has already perfected. But I love knowing that fact. I love that fact.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I was worried about, like, I have to, like right now when I make chicken soup, I'm buying someone else's noodles to put in the soup. I'm not like rolling out the pasta, drying the pasta. I can't commit to that. I have a farm to run.
What about
So-
growing the wheat?
You're growing the wheat
the
and threshing the wheat. Yes, no. I'm at my top, I'm at the peak of my workload right now with farming. Yeah.
All right, so I love this conversation, and I think that that's actually really smart to think about what you have the capacity for and don't right now. I do want to give Alice, you haven't had a chance to go, so I would like to hear from you what you're planning on exploring and working on.
Okay, so we did talk a lot about, well, I'm going to have to pivot, right? So I'm pivoting to some kind of fruit leather, my strawberry fruit leather, but it's going to have a milk-based cream with it. And so now what I do have to experiment with is refrigerating it versus being shelf stable. I don't really want it to be shelf stable because then I'm going to have to use preservatives. My whole point of doing this project was to try to have something as well, freeze dried, I wouldn't have had to worry about it. But now I have to worry about it. So either I'm going to have to do refrigerated or shelf stable, and I have no clue how to do preservatives. So is that something you guys would also help us with if I did decide to do shelf stable? Or
Help you. Well, so we do have we have food experts coming up, and they are probably good people to ask about preservatives and whatnot. We can also reach out to some of the people. If you have specific questions, just email me, and I can try to find the right person to answer them for you.
Well, because then that's also going to change the packaging, whether I do a refrigerated versus a shelf stable. And of course, my questionnaire that I sent out didn't ask any of this kind of stuff. So I don't know what, So I don't know what
you might
people,
want to redo one.
yeah.
You might want to redo it for this product.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't know what people are going to prefer. And so I'm kind of starting over a little bit, not with my ingredients, but with what I'm making with those ingredients.
Have you considered finding somebody like here in our market? There's somebody that does commercial freeze drying. Do you know if anybody might be able to do your recipes for you until your equipment comes in?
I have looked into that, but I can't find anybody here in Florida. I mean, maybe Miami might have somebody. I just haven't, because freeze drying is usually, these are $100,000 on up machines in big food processing plants. And my guess would be Jacksonville or Miami.
There's literally a small, I will, let me get their info. I'll send it to you. I don't know if they would help you, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask the question. There's a small company that does it here in our market.
Well, I have the freeze dryers. I just don't have all my parts and everything right now. They're small. They're more for a small business I have that. Yeah, you're asking like if I have access to a large one, that's going to cost a ton of money, which I don't think.
No, I just meant you were saying you were pivoting your whole recipe based on not having equipment. So I was just suggesting.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. It is a great idea. I'm actually, well, luckily I can keep my recipe about the same. It's the treatment on that recipe that's going to literally change it to be a freeze-dried crunchy snack or a fruit roll. It's literally the same ingredients, just a different, but yeah, I would love it. If you find a freeze dryer company, let me know. That does big stuff, like really big, but then that's going to cost a fortune.
Well, it sounds like, you have a lot to kind of piece together there, Alice, but if you need any help from us, just let us know. All right, so I want to quickly, I know we're at time, but I do want to preview a little bit the upcoming activity. So this is and throughout the course, we'll have 3 choose your own adventure type weeks where you can pick which module activity you want to do. And we did this because sometimes people are further along in the process and they've already accomplished something, or sometimes people were early on and one felt too far away for where they were at. So you can pick the one that seems the most relevant to you. We would definitely recommend doing both or looking at both activities though. Like just using it, keeping it as a reference. You don't have to do it this week. You don't have to do both this week. Pick one for this week, but circle back and use that because they're both great tools. So the food safety one, there's 2 pieces of that. There's an awesome website that explains a lot of the licensing and whatnot. You should definitely click on that, explore around, see what's needed for your product. So that's a very helpful link in the activity. It's like, I think step 1 is you explore that. The other thing for food safety is that we have you research outbreaks that have happened in the past. And then based on your research, say how you could either prevent, control, or kill those hazards in your own production. And it's really starting to create a safety plan. And really everyone should have a safety plan. That is something that really everyone should want. Read the article, it talks about recall plans and all that as well. In the cleaning and sanitation, that activity more has you look at different cleaning agents and really try to understand what's in them and how they work, and really get a good handle on what cleaning agents you're using and what's available. So feel free to pick which one and then talk about cleaning your spaces and sanitizing your spaces. So pick the one that you think is most impactful to your business right now. The one thing that I want everyone to do is we have a panel of food safety experts coming next week. This includes someone who, he's like a professor, food safety stuff, very knowledgeable about hazards and whatnot. We have someone who knows a lot about helping people with commercial kitchens and understanding really the practical side of production. And we have Anna, who is also a food safety expert as well. So what I will ask you to do is please, please, please post any questions that you have for our panel in the forum so that I can compile them the day before. This is the trick. The day before, I need to send them over to the experts so that they can see what you're asking and pull relevant resources and make sure to answer your questions. So please post those questions as early as possible in the forum, and that is how next week's discussion will go about. We'll just go through those questions and provide answers. And we might not be able to answer every single one, but the deadline for the questions is Wednesday at 11, because Wednesday at noon is when I'm going to send my email.
Can these questions be about anything?
They can be about anything related to food safety and kitchens and cleaning, any of that. And so, you know, just if you have the question, put it in there. Worst case scenario, they say, I don't know, but this is the resource that you should look at. So that is kind of, does anyone have any questions before we wrap up? That's the plan for this next week. All right, I'm not seeing any.
Yeah, it's in the chat. Just the specific deadline for questions for those who are time challenged. Not speaking of myself, of course.
Yeah, the specific deadline for time challenged people, it's Tuesday at noon. For the rest of everyone, it's Wednesday at 11.
You asked for it, Pat.
That's funny. That's funny. Right there with you, Pat.
Yeah, okay, y'all. Got it. Tuesday.
All right. So yeah, because it especially helps me because I'm the one compiling them all. So the earlier they go up, the easier it is for me. So I appreciate that. All right, Sarita, you look like you have a question.
Yes, so this worksheet for this week that's still due, is there a deadline to have that posted?
That would just be the regular deadline of the Wednesday at 11.
Gotcha.
But get
Thank
your
you.
questions in as early as possible.
Yes, thank you.
Of course. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for the amazing conversations today. And I will see you all next week. I hope you have a wonderful week. And if you need anything in the meantime, just email, text, or call. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.